Assalamualaikum and greetings to our beloved lecturer STA404, Madam Norazana. I'm Amira Hani binti Mahendra, and currently we are completed our third task, which is we are conducted survey among random 21 students of UITM Kota Kinabalu. This survey was conducted is aimed to identify student satisfaction level to services at UITM KK, and at the time we are trying to examining cost expenditure among students. However, this survey was distributed through online, which means we are using Google Form, and we share this Google Form through the WhatsApp application among the students UITM KK. And this survey also able to gain student satisfaction feedback in order to cooperate with tenders under UITM to further improve their quality in terms of their services or their price. So other than that, the objective of this study is to provide information of male and female students to the satisfaction level to the facilities in the classroom, accommodation, transportation, health unit services, variation of food at Menara Ilmu Cafeteria, and Dobby services, as well as their type of transportation used go to class and their expenditure. So the second one for the objective of this study, this survey also conducted to identify whether there are differences between three types of satisfaction in terms of accommodation, health unit, and variation of food in Menara Ilmu Cafeteria, and type of gender, which is male and female students in UITM KK. And the third one is to observe whether there is a relationship between gender of students, which is male and female students, and types of transportation used go to class. So we move to the methodology of this case study. We identify there are two types of variable, which means the first one is qualitative. Qualitative refers to the variable that unable to describe through numerical form. So in our case study, gender, level of satisfaction that consisted of excellent, good, fair, and poor, and also the types of transportation is classified to the qualitative variable, while the quantitative variable is the variable that able to describe through visualize and calculation. So, in our case study, rate of student expenditure is discrete quantitative variable. Next, for the scale measurement, they are nominal and ratio, while the graphical method and inferential technique that we use in this case study are component bar chart, horizontal bar chart, pie chart, histogram, analysis of variance, ANOVA, and also the Pearson correlation of coefficient, which means the regression line. So that's all from me, and we move to the next presenter.
Hello everyone, I'm Van Bablin Kelly will explain about my part, which is the data exploration. The description of our data, the first one is population. We use is all students in UITM Kota Kinabalu, and the sampling frame is list of all students. The sample that we have is 21 students in UITM Kota Kinabalu, and sampling unit we just randomly selected students in UITM Kota Kinabalu, and the type of study is sample survey, and the type of statistic descriptive statistic and inferential statistic. Okay, I will explain about the source of data. While doing this group work assignment of the subject STA404 in studying and observing student satisfaction or services at UITM Kota Kinabalu, we are using primary data sources, which is the primary source of data refer to the original or directly information collected or generated directly from the experienced individual or sources who have used the service at UITM Kota Kinabalu. Okay, let's move on to the second, which is data collection method. The data collection method As I mentioned in the first, at our description data, which is we are use of sample survey. The sample survey that we use is questionnaire, where it is self-administered, such as participant completing a written or electronic questionnaire independently, offer flexibility and anonymity suitable for a large-scale survey or sensitive topic. We use this method to make it easier for us to make observation on our study of student satisfaction of service at UiTM Kota Kinabalu. Lastly is sampling technique. It is also mentioned and stated in our description data, but I will explain more in this part, which is our sampling technique is a random sampling technique where we collect 21 random pieces of information from UiTM Kota Kinabalu students who have experience using service at UiTM Kota Kinabalu. For student satisfaction service at UiTM Kota Kinabalu, random sampling is very simple and easy to apply because it was true random sampling essential, which is each member or the population has an equal chance of being selected without any bias, and all the question A was straightforward. Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Elizabeth Wong, and I will be discussing in the descriptive statistics from our study on the satisfactions from students on the services provided in UiTM Kota Kinabalu campus. Firstly, let's look at the qualitative data. We analyzed several aspects of student satisfaction, including the satisfaction on the services based on different gender, satisfaction with classroom facilities, transportation, health unit services, food variety at Menara Ilmu's cafeteria, and Adobe services. So the first variable is satisfaction by gender. We use the frequency tables as provided in the slide to compare satisfaction levels between male and female students. This helps us visualize how each gender perceives the services provided. But unfortunately, due to limited space on the slide, I cannot show the exact bar charts. So next variable is the classroom facility satisfaction. To fully understand satisfaction with classroom facilities, our group created frequency tables and pie charts to clearly show the distribution of satisfaction levels. As we can see, based on the frequency table, about 11 entries suggest that the facilities in the classroom are good. Moving on to the next variable, which is transportation type. We looked at different types of transportation used by students on the campus. We used the provided frequency table and horizontal bar charts to illustrate the preferences, highlighting the most and least popular modes of transport. Most of the students use bus transportation provided by the university, e-hailing, both illegal and legal, and the Sabaria bus. For the health unit services, the frequency table depicted the satisfaction levels of students, showing whether students were happy with the health services provided. And from the scale of excellent, good, fair, and poor, about 11 students' level of satisfaction towards these service are good. So the satisfaction with the variety of food at Nara Ilmu's cafeteria was analyzed using the frequency table and pie charts. This gave us a clear picture of how well the cafeteria is meeting student expectations. And once again, based on the table, the variety of food at the cafeteria is good. And lastly is Adobe Services satisfaction. We examined the satisfaction with Adobe Services, frequency table, and pie charts as well. These charts help us see how students felt about the laundry services available on campus. 11 entries stated that the services provided are excellent. Next, let's move on to the quantitative data, specifically student expenditure. So based on the student expenditure frequency tables and the histograms, we can calculate various summary measures for the quantitative data, namely central tendency, position of data, dispersion, and skewness. For the measure of central tendency, the mean expenditure was found to be 1.52, while the median and mode were both 1.00. This indicated that most students spent around 1 unit, with a few spending more, which pulls the mean up slightly. For the measure of position of data, Looking at the percentiles, the 25th percentile was 1.100. The 50th percentile or median was 1.00 as well. And the 75th percentile was 2.00. This shows that the majority of students spend between 1 and 2 units. For the measure of dispersion, the standard deviation was 0.7750, indicating low variability around the mean. The variance was 0.562 squared, and the range was 2, which is the difference between the maximum and minimum expenditure. Lastly, for the measure of skewness, the skewness value was 1.092, indicating a positively skewed distribution. This means that there are more students who spend less, with a few high expenditure outliers.
Hi, my name is Rasina Boni, and I'll be presenting the results of our hypothesis test examining differences in student satisfaction between male and female students at UITM Kota Kinabalu. We look at satisfaction in three areas, which is accommodation at the hostel, health unit services, and food variation at Menara Ilmos Cafeteria. Our null hypothesis was that the mean satisfaction levels were equal across all three areas for male and female students. The alternative hypothesis was that not all three means were equal. We used a one-way ANOVA test with a significance level of 5%. And based on our sample data, we calculated a p-value of 0.446. Since this p-value of 0.446 is greater than our significance level of 0.05, we failed to reject the null hypothesis. This means we do not have sufficient statistical evidence to conclude that there are significant differences in satisfaction levels between male and female students across the three areas we examined. In other words, based on our analysis, gender does not appear to be a significant factor in student satisfaction with accommodation, health services, and cafeteria food at this campus. Now I will explain the relationship between gender and types of transportation used by students. Our analysis is based on a sample of 21 students. We found a moderate negative correlation between gender and transportation type with a Pearson coefficient of negative 0.488, which is statistically significant. Our regression model shows that the gender explained about 23.8% of the variance in transportation type. The model is statistically significant with a p-value of 0.025, and for the regression equation is type of transportation equal 12.395 minus 5.447, which is gender. However, our scatter plot reveals that there is no relationship between gender and types of transportation used to go to class, and we see two distinct clusters likely representing male and female students. In conclusion, while gender does have a statistically significant relationship with transportation choice, it's not a strong predictor. Other factors likely play important roles in determining how students travel to class. Thank you for your attention.